welcome back to the WLTCG podcast. I am Hoel.
I'm Sam.
The moon is up, and my name's Roderick.
So I guess hey guys, we're back after a brief intermission, I guess you want to call it. Really early brief intermission. But it doesn't matter. You guys won't see it. You guys won't see the whole intermission.
Yeah, you'll just see the funny part.
Right. But I guess our first topic for today should probably be our case opening that we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm. From the day of recording.
Yeah, from the day of recording.
So it was a Sunday.
So if you guys didn't see, we did a brief live stream with the whole case opening from Roderick's ghetto phone, ghetto camera angle.
Yeah.
Looked like a straight up criminal
They
shit
never
going down.
saw it coming.
But I guess Sam, how did you feel about the case?
So the case, I don't know, it wasn't overall the set, the fact that they didn't change ratios, but SRs were still, there's twice as many SRs and rares, or at least twice as many SRs.
Yeah. It's usually 20 rares.
Okay. So anyway, the fact that they didn't change that means between the entire case, we barely got a playset of all the SRs and rares.
I think, wasn't there one SR we didn't get a playset of? I thought there's one SR. Maybe not.
Maybe we're missing one. I thought we had a playset of everything. By the way,
it was still barely. We barely scraped by.
The fact that, overall, most of us don't want the same thing. All the machines went to red stuff went to Roderick. I took the Alice's
and the green-black stuff.
The green-black.
I think the only thing that really overlapped
was
Loki's. Was the Loki's.
She refused to give me, even though I want to build the deck.
I want to build the deck too. But
I have the defenders. You don't.
But I have the Loki's.
Yeah.
But other than that, I guess we also pretty much decided that we could do community decks with the archetypes we didn't really care much to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll probably do the Fuji deck list.
Yeah. Definitely Fuji. I think you were going to try and build Adam, weren't you?
Yeah, I wanted to do it to Adam. Probably either Weenie Adam or Adam Roulette.
I'd say Adam Roulette is funnier.
Yeah. But it's I think Kevin talked about this briefly. I don't know if it was during the live stream or not. No, I think it was after. So, the very conflicted feelings about the case. It's yes, we didn't do too amazing. We barely got the play sets. We paid each $150 for the case, or after splitting.
Mm-hmm.
But a single box now is $150.
Yeah. So we made that kind of money, but it still doesn't feel great when you spend so much money.
Yeah.
And normally, we get a playset or about a playset, each of us. So to me, that kind of felt bad because I usually like to have a playset of everything. But I think this is going to be the first set where I don't, which hurts me. But it's not much we can do when it's hard to get a box. And I'm not willing to spend, an extra $40 for, playset of Isises and not even play them.
Yeah.
But
Roderick, would you like to share how much it would cost to complete the Isis deck?
Complete it from scratch, just the new cards. And this is missing some. This is missing one Gnarlitho tip. And some of the cards are full art, so that heavily weighs into the price. But considering that full art Isis is currently going for 23, let's just say a big number. Big number.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not proud of. Big number I'm not proud of. But no, it's insane trying to build a set, even from singles. You're spending upwards of a box in DBV terms. In terms of other sets, like a box and a half or something along those lines, or 2 boxes. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't even know how the prices are going to work because it's we're pretty much not gonna ever get more product for this set. So
No.
it's like, I doubt prices will go down. Maybe the prices for cards I don't really see place, like the cats. I don't think they'll see
They
a lot
might go down a little bit, but
I think
like,
they may stabilize just because they're the cat archetype.
Things I know are gonna go down to like the Ten Commandments. Like they're good, and
I
there's some
think
better
their
ones than
foils
others.
are gonna stay at like
The
the
foils,
$10.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't count the foils, like the full arts of uncommons and stuff like that. I don't count those, but like at least trying to play the cards.
Yeah.
Hell, they're worth cents already, but it's finding them is part of the problem. But those full arts those are expensive. They look hella nice. They look real nice, but they cost money.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, hell, I don't know. Actually, I kind of want to check real quick if that dude sold his $8 sealed single pack on TCG Player.
Oh,
It's
man.
like,
I mean,
I
I
don't-
wouldn't buy it just because I know that the person scaled it.
yeah.
There's no possible way that you would ever sell a single pack and not scale it. There's no reason not to.
Let's see where we are at. Where the hell are we on TCG Player? Oh, there he is.
So, besides that, I know for the ratios, all of us got, excluding god packs, out of 2 boxes, we got 8 full arts, 10, no. Yeah,
Yep.
8 full art SRs, was it? You got 18?
No, I got
full art
no.
SRs?
It was we all got 8 full art SRs. I got 19 non full art SRs.
I got 20,
You got
and
20.
Kevin got 22.
Yeah. So
So apparently the ratio of non-full SRs changes between boxes, which is weird, but kind of makes sense. Adds a little bit of randomness to it.
because I think most other games, like, obviously you're guaranteed some SRs, but they like you get between 8 and like 12, or like
Yeah, yeah.
8 and 10.
Yeah.
So
I
at
know.
minimum, I probably hit like the minimum.
Then you have Yu-Gi-Oh, which says you're guaranteed 2, but every once in a while you only get 1 at secret.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm at the 8s, 10s.
Kind of makes me think about how Pokemon does their Elite Trainer boxes. Their boxes are definitely built in a similar way to other TCGs, but their Elite Trainer boxes are so hit and miss. You can buy one Elite Trainer box and pull like maybe a GX or 2. Like, okay, out of 8 packs, that seems reasonable. Some Elite Trainer boxes give you like literally nothing, and then other Elite Trainer boxes just give you the worth of an entire box. Someone bought Unbroken Bonds, the set before Unified Minds, and they packed a secret rare and a full art Dedenne GX on top of getting a Reshazar GX in that Elite Trainer box.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But then a friend of mine bought one and he got a Guardian. No, it wasn't Guardian. I can't remember what came out in that set. No, it was probably Guardian. Yeah, and he was not happy.
No, so I just found it. This dude still has 24 packs for $8.
Yeah, so you see, you keep the 12 packs that weigh the most,
Yeah,
then you sell the other 24.
pretty much. Man. I just need to see what the prices are going to be like next week to see if I'm going to regret not buying those full art Clockwork Girls or other full arts for this set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess that's pretty much it. Most of our thoughts were during the live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't seen that, you can definitely check it out on Facebook in the global group. I just kind of threw it on there. If I can somehow pull that video from the live, we'll consider putting it up on YouTube as like a vlog. Maybe start a mini vlog series of us just talking about Force of Will at random moments. That actually sounds pretty fun. I might do that more often. But aside from that, let's also talk about what we think is going to be the contenders coming up in this new format, because there is some strong shit. What about you,
Yeah.
Hoa? What do you think are contenders?
So, do you just want to do like the top three and honorable mention?
Yeah, I think everybody should mention their own top three and an honorable mention.
So, in no order, my top three would probably be ISIS. Probably like a more aggro-y into a mid-range ISIS. I don't know how well the control builds would do. Machines. And then who would be the next one? I honestly think Gil's gonna get pushed out of the meta, maybe. Well, not like pushed out completely, but not within the top 3 deck kind of thing.
I think. Well, I'll save my thoughts for Gil for later, but yeah.
And I still think Kyric's gonna be strong. So I guess we may be going into just a really aggro-y meta.
Yeah.
And then my honorable mention, I still think a Loki deck will be pretty strong. Because if an aggro deck can't kill it, she could just flip and just pretty much just board wipe almost anything.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 in honorable mention.
Sounds legit. What about you, Sam?
I think ISIS machines, and then I would like Loki to be up there, but I don't think he's gonna make it just because he's slower than the rest of them. He can control the board. I don't know how well he controls it. That's what's gonna depend on that one. I don't know who my third one would be. Like, I think Gil can still be a contender, but most of his deck strategies relied on
Surviving.
surviving to like turn 3 to turn 4, and then canceling when your opponent pops off. But when you're playing against like machines, which is just a constant threat, or ISIS, which pops off
Randomly.
yeah, like sometimes it's the turn you're about to flip. So if you don't have enough mana to stop everything, then you just lose to it.
Yeah.
So I can see Gil falling by the wayside. I know honorable mention is definitely going to be watching out for IU, just because I don't know what the heck that deck is going to do.
It got a new soul.
Oh yeah, it did get
it
a
got
new soul.
but that's about it. But at the
I
same
mean,
point, like,
IU's still IU.
IU didn't need a lot of things. It had a pretty consistent deck. The only, I guess my third deck is gonna have to be the white green Hanzo, just 'cause I've seen that around and it seems like a decent deck. And I mean, when you have Seal of Wind and Light with the 7/7 body, like, it's just a why not.
Yeah. It's just really good.
It's very good, actually. Joshua Patton showed me the light. It hurts. It hurts so much.
So Roderick, what are your picks?
My picks are pretty similar to you guys. I don't have an order, but I'm going to try to establish one right now. I think number 1 is going to be Machines. Number 2 is going to be ISIS. And number 3, I feel like is probably going to be Gil or Keurig. I can't decide between either one, but I know one of those 2 are going to be there. And the reason I say that is because Gil can adapt to a meta with enough research and practice. I feel like he's still going to have trouble with machines simply because they go so wide. But him versus ISIS really comes down to, does that player have ISIS in hand on curve? Because if it goes on too long, then Gil can establish and he could just stop you from playing the game. Keurig is a bit different. He can actually speed alongside machines. Plus, he has the ability to start picking off damage out of nowhere, even with nothing on board. And for ISIS, it's pretty much the same fight. Does ISIS drop turn 3? And does the Keurig have Path Sweep in hand? If they do, then it might not be over, depending on how many moons. If they don't, then the match ends there. And that seems like what it comes down to. As far as a boogeyman, my honorable mention is going to be a toss-up between, I'm going to cheat here, I'm going to split it between 2, Fuji and White Hanzo. White Hanzo can cancel stuff similar to Gil, but he has runes. Fuji, I feel like people are really underestimating how much damage he can throw at you in a short amount of time. and a lot of people are going to go in not expecting him to hurt, and he's going to hurt a lot. But I think he's going to fall to the wayside once people actually understand what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fuji has a chance, but at the same point, like, Fuji has to get Genshi out. Otherwise, like, that entire deck just doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah.
And I think that's going to be its biggest problem. It's just it has to be able to mana fix with their commandment. So if you take out the commandment, then it doesn't get the mana fix. Or if they play Genshi and then you just lower it,
Then you cry.
then they have to do it again. Or if you cancel it, like, there's just a lot of things that you can do against him. But once they get the emblems, then it's great. But at the same point, like,
Now, Laurite does stop a lot of things. Like, Laurite can slow down Isis. Laurite obviously just jacks up Genshi. Laurite just hits a lot of stuff. Laurite stops White Hanzo. And that's just, I mean, that's just not funny. But yeah, I feel like once people understand him, he's not going to be that much of a threat in terms of, like, staying power. But I actually don't think it's going to be hard to get Genshi out. Because considering the fact that you have a one red card to search your deck for any dragon, you never have to worry about whether or not you
mana fixer.
Yeah, keeping him alive is one thing, but you can plan your deck around that a bit. But as far as, like, getting him onto the field won't be a problem. You'll be able to go find him easily. But we also don't know much about how the deck is going to function aside from go 1, 2, 3, play a big old dragon on turn 4, and make cards go sideways. It's very generic stuff.
I think the guild decks is going to have to completely rely on the pilot for it. Because I think that's how we've seen all the guild tops. It's like it's only been specific people that have been really good with it.
Yeah, because, like, guild is not an easy thing to pilot.
Yeah.
Like, it is an interesting curve where it's like once you learn it, like, you get up to, like, an average level, but then you have to, like, really grind it out to actually know how to play it well enough to actually win matches consistently. Because there is just a lot of aggro that you have to be ready for. Like, there's a lot of times where you gotta play really
Defensively?
not, like, close to the I forget the phrase. But yeah, like, you gotta play it, like, really close to, like, you're about to die, but, you know, if you play just right, you're taking more life.
You're
but
walking
gonna
that
live.
fine line.
Yeah. You just gotta know, like, the matchups and, like, how to pilot it, which is a lot of things about Gil. But I don't know, like, I think Gil has a chance, obviously, because Gil can adapt. At the same point, like, Gil's kind of change a lot of things about itself to try and beat the current meta.
Yeah.
And might need to get a little bit lucky at times.
It's like I don't want to kick out white decks completely. Probably mainly Brunhild, because out of all the colors, white has the most anti-aggro, pretty much.
Yeah.
So if we do go into a super aggro meta, she'll probably have a better chance at surviving.
Yeah. Especially if we do something like a lot of people playing the reanimation style, where you harvest and you just bring back the 2-drop human, swing for 8, you know, stuff like that. Where you can play, like, the white weenie stack that a lot of people are doing. Since Adam's now a thing, so it's hard to remove.
It's just like that Odin could be pretty nasty if you're not ready for it. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna tap out Odin.
But that's the thing is, like, as long as your opponent doesn't tap out, you can't play Odin just for that one chance of, like, if you tap out to play Odin, they kill Odin in response. Both of your, you know, stones get destroyed, but if they have a board and you don't, then they can just constantly hit your face, and while you're trying to play defensively, they're just going to keep playing resonators at that point. So it's a huge risk with a good reward, but it's like the reward, as much as I would love to win with, you know, swinging twice with Odin and bashing someone's face in, I just don't see it consistently, you know, helping you win the game. Yeah, I can definitely see, like, your animation, Brunhild, or Weenies.
But we may still have the same issue that we had, I guess, last set, where Keurig would still gatekeep dual-colored decks. Heavily dual-colored decks. Because most of the dual-colored decks we're getting now only rely on, like, one or two different colored cards out of their main color.
I think you'll only gatekeep the ones that it's mandatory that they run multiple stones. Because there's like dual color running multiple stones, but then there's dual color running just the mana fixers. And like any mana fixer that falls into a deck that can run March of the Dead becomes very persistent and hard to deal with. Plus, I saw during my match with Patton that keeping those cats on board isn't too difficult. And I would say he doesn't really work against ISIS because he can kill Desert Miner, but Desert Miner isn't the problem in that deck as far as like the color fixing, because the deck really doesn't care about color fixing until it's time to play Nyarlathotep. But by the time you have access to Nyarlathotep, it doesn't matter what happens to the ISIS because you can just float in response and still get what you want. Plus, their only way out is to bounce the ISIS. Problem is, you don't want to bounce it if there's a certain amount of will that can still be made because you just play the ISIS again to go get another Nyarlathotep, and then you got two problems. So that's really what it comes down to. Other jank stuff, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really see what the heck Lucifer's doing right now.
I don't think he can keep up.
No, he just does exactly what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's still one of the fastest mana producers in the game.
It is.
I mean, in this format, like, I think he's going to play Satan, but it's mainly just to get the invitation off. Because you can just then, dump 2 Johns.
Yeah. You just go yeet, bring him back. You can still run a couple of Dark Elves, literally a couple, because now you could just search for them and throw them away. And then March, John.
I do feel a lot of decks are going to start maining Graveyard Hate. So he either has to somehow try to play Alice, which you can do, but... Sorry, Dark Alice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible they could just try and start doing that, just to be like, okay, in response to your Graveyard Hate, I'll just play my Dark Alice. Whether you're using Mana Transmuter, you can... Same that people were doing with like Lorite, you can just bring it out off of the altar, yeah. So stuff like that I can see them trying to do that to protect themselves, but it's a matter of Dark Alice is not a hard thing to remove.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
I think there's a chance. I just don't know. Yeah.
If it's in dark, it's a bit easier to make it persistent because March of the Dead can bring it back. Problem is making sure that they don't remove your grave before then.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. Like you remove it, and then like your opponent goes like, "Oh, well, I'll just March of the Dead," and then they like, okay, in response, like, there's at least 3 cards I can think of automatically that can get rid of things in the grave.
Yeah.
So
And they're in 3 different colors too.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not hard, and you're gonna see a lot of Graveyard Hate.
Actually, I could think of 4.
Yeah. I just thought of a 4th one, Athenia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so 5 then. I could think of 5.
Because there's Burial Rites.
Yep.
Evil Elemental Uprising.
Yep.
Athenia.
Yep.
Rachel.
Viola.
Sorry, Viola, not
Yep.
Rachel. What's the 5th?
I will forget the name now.
Isn't it the Shayla's?
Yeah, Shayla's Foresight doesn't remove it, but sends it back into deck.
Yeah.
Which does same thing we want.
Yeah.
It's easier to deal with it once it's back in the deck, and you have to wait for them to draw it again.
Are there any light cards that interact with the grave in terms of removal?
No, but we have a 1 mana quick cast, remove target darkness resonator from the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
you so what if your Dark Alice is on the board? Like, you play that John, and I'm just gonna remove it. So like, White doesn't care.
Yeah.
And it is quick cast too. That's right.
Maybe White could be a dark horse, but there's so many decks I could kind of see topping.
Yeah, like I think like the thing Jeremy's putting on is definitely gonna be a very big lead in into like what the world's meta is gonna be.
Yeah,
but
when's that? Like early October?
yeah, early to mid October.
Mid-October.
Mid October.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Speaking of Dark Horse, I have a question for you, Joel. Have you I might have asked this before, I can't remember, but have you considered running the Faith Horse in your Panda deck to try to build the white-black Panda build?
I haven't touched pandas in a while ever since I started kind of grinding out the machine list.
Yeah, we saw this new stuff. We were like, ooh.
Yeah. I'm like, sorry, pandas, you about to be a side hoe. But once I feel more comfortable with machines, I'll probably reopen up the panda list, put that into work. But it's just like, I guess the only thing I could do with it is just try the black-white build again.
It was just a question I had because
Yeah.
I didn't even run the process through my mind, but I just thought now he has 8 ways to make black.
Yeah. But it's just like, I want pandas to work, but they just won't.
They worked once. They beat up IU at some point, and then everybody respected it. I mean, that was its time.
That was the one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one match I managed to get off of Daniel's IU.
Yeah, that too as well.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh snap, this fat fuck is actually a threat.
I mean,
Somewhat.
still, it was extremely hard for an IU to beat through like 16 black gems I had.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And you're over here complaining about my moons. You just deleted everything in existence.
But it's still a pain to kill IU.
How many of those 16 counters did you have to end up using?
I think I used a good chunk of them because he pitched almost his entire hand
Oh
for
my
souls.
God. That's insane.
And then I had to make sure to have enough gems to keep IU down once it flips again.
So, here's a question I have for you. Let's say this is a magical world where GP still exists, and they're like, surprise, there's a GP in 2 weeks. For convenience sake, we'll say it's here in Dallas. There's a GP in Dallas here in 2 weeks. New Frontiers format. Yada, yada, yada. What deck are you taking? Or what deck are you considering, and why?
Machines. That's the one I feel most comfortable with.
Kind of depends on the cards that I can get.
All right, let's assume that card acquisition isn't a problem, like either through trades or by buying, but like card acquisition, let's say that's not a bottleneck in this case.
Oh, okay. Without that, I think I would need more time to get a perfect low-key deck that's consistent enough to control the meta. So probably would stick with something more like white-green Hanzo.
Okay.
Just so
Because Seal of Wind and Light is a card, and we know Seal of Wind and Light can do
Yeah.
good stuff.
it's just like fighting against like machines. I feel like is the uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, against machines, now that I've kind of looked at it more, it's really hard to just like give yourself breathing room because of just how much pressure they apply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are absolutely bonkers. But I'm fine with that to an extent. I would rather blue have some time to shine that isn't like cheesy. And what I mean by that, like, IU is a strong deck, but I consider it kind of cheesy because the whole point of IU is
It's
just
not blue.
flip.
It's not.
It's not blue.
Well, it's blue in terms of all her cards. There's only one card that she truly cares about that's not blue, and that's Resuscitating Will.
In
And
the current
sometimes
meta
Lara.
or like ever? Because there's a lot of cards where she.
In this current meta,
Okay,
there's
in the
like
current meta.
up to 2 cards that she truly cares about that aren't blue, and that's Resuscitating Will and a Larite to stop them from getting the Resuscitating Will.
what
And if
about
you want to
the-
throw in Fair Spell.
And you also need to be playing discard. So that's black.
Do you really, though?
Yes.
Yeah, because you
It-
want to discard before you flip,
Yeah.
or at least get a good chance at.
Yeah.
the
Like
end.
if you're gonna go in for the kill, like you want to check their hand, just make sure that there's no threats. Like it's one of the most important things in the.
I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you
fight.
can. But then consider that her medicine is blue. Lightning Cave, she only cares about that when going up against either flyers or aggro. The card, I can't think of the name, but it gets you 2 souls back from grave. That's blue. Pretty much all her souls, bar 1, are blue. And although she never pays a cost for them, they're still blue cards.
Yeah.
And she needs blue to flip. Overall, even though she's like multicolored in terms of what she has access to, those are really like the supplements to what she really wants to do. Especially if she knows you can't check her. like fire. Fire really can't do anything to IU other than hopefully kill her before she kills them. And that's not happening if she flips on curve because then she goes, I actually don't give a shit what's in your hand. Swing. Sure. Drops hand. Game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's just
drop
cry.
hand, God's art, game.
Yeah. Just God's art per game.
You forgot the God's art part.
I've died too many times, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot the God's art. I'm like, did you need to? But overall, it's a blue deck with color tricks, which was a blue deck with color tricks. But she was cheesy too because she stopped you from playing the game after what, turn 3 or 4? What was her optimal curve?
It's been so long. Yeah, 3 to 4. Because you would usually try to go. You'd usually wait for them to have 3 stones, then you'd. How is it typically?
Because it was like turn 1 statue always.
Yeah. Like turn 1 statue or play a card that just draws you a card. Like you play Distortion.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 2, you played like the 2 mana statue. Turn 3, you can go
Moss or Dinosaur Surfacing for Moss, or would you go God's Art then next turn Moss?
depending on how many stones they have. Like you want them to have 3 before you want a Moss. So a lot of times where you tap them down, next turn tap them down and Moss, Mosasaurus, and then Mosasaurus the next turn for the kill pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So you lock them out of so many different stones.
Then if you Moss plus God's Art that same turn, then they're locked out for 2 turns almost because skip recovery, then their next recovery, they don't untap, and then the next turn, if they live, they get to untap, but it's too late.
Yeah.
That skip recovery thing was mean.
Yeah. Then like blue before then, unless I'm missing somebody, I don't know if we count Charlotte, but Val 2.0 was like, beta IU. Huh?
This wasn't a blue deck.
Still, blue ruler.
The blue rulers are sometimes good, but it's never a blue deck.
But you see what my point is?
Machine's
like all
is the first deck that I feel.
Machine is the first.
But see, that's my point, is that Machine is the first time blue has actually had a legitimate time to shine. Every other point, it was like blue plus something in order to blend together to get better things, which came somewhat close because their primary cards were blue, but she didn't run just blue stuff. Machines are like mono blue-ish. They got Machina because they made them green for whatever reason.
Yeah. But even then, you could honestly play it without Machina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Machina's just
Arthur. Arthur is the good stuff.
Dude, Arthur is so much better than I originally thought him out to be.
Yeah,
you just need to know what you want to call out for that first.
Which you got to remember to do.
Yeah, which I still got to remember to do. For his effect, you could call a card to gain barrier from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then you do have to just learn every other card that is a threat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the draw an extra card per turn if he survives is really good, especially for an aggro deck that needs the hand advantage.
Yeah. But also against red decks is kind of hard to call the correct card.
Yeah.
Default, if you're fighting against Isis, is Godly Aura. Then you have Gnarl, Dragon Palm, Burnt Cooking, Spiral,
Poison Stinger.
Poison Stinger
makes a lot of
Surtur,
more.
Whirlwind. The list goes on. So it's like...
Did you recall Spiral?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see Godly Aura
being the default.
Yeah, default, but not a lot of people play Burnt Cooking, so I wouldn't call that. It doesn't auto die unless you remove counters to
Dragon Palm.
Dragon Palm. Spiral, maybe I'd be afraid of. Poison Stinger, not really, because they're still using 2 cards to kill it. So it's, if I can call something else to force them to use 2 cards, I'd rather do that. Plus, if I call the same card the next time I play something, or if I 2 out with the same one, then I'm basically saying that
Actually,
that card
all you got to do,
useful.
Joel, is Hopefully that Arthur survives, and next turn drop a Machina and just be like, all right, the list of cards that can hurt me. I named this, I named this, I named this, I named this, I named this.
I want to start playing the edition, the round table or whatever, just
I'm
like
telling you,
remove
do
all the
it.
counters.
Do it so also that way when you mystery box, your things don't die on enter in
I
some
know.
cases.
But then I kind of want to play Merlin just so I could pull out the edition as fast as possible.
But then Merlin doesn't pop off if you give him off a mystery box.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah.
There's like, I like mystery box. There's
Yeah.
so many things that don't go
It's-
well.
I actually don't think you need mystery box.
Yeah, because like before you guys got here, I was going through my rune deck and I was like, man, I don't know what I want anymore.
I still think mystery box is good just because like there's these number of times where like machines like if you can get them to that late game where they're like, oh, I don't have a hand. Mystery box from rune deck, like just put 5 things from the top of my deck onto the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just refilled my board. If you just killed it, now there's like 3 to 5 more threats. Pass.
I wish blue had a 1 divinity rune. That's not that fog or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Just like, because like the lowest I could go is 11, and I'm like, God damn it, why you do this to me? I was debating on putting in the green rune that says destroy an edition, I think. Oh no, that's just a plain rune. Never mind. I was about to say. But I think that's pretty much it regarding machines.
Yeah, your runes are expensive. Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Your
all like
runes-
2s and 3s
Dang.
with the 1 fog.
Yeah, that's dang.
I wish Reconnaissance was a 1 drop or a 1 divinity.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Then at least I'll probably put that in place of mystery box or something, just so I get that solid 10 divinity.
Yeah.
Green has looks like the most Divinity 1 runes because they felt like having the most Divinity 1, then black, then red. It looks like, or maybe red then black, but yeah. That's
There's
crazy.
one deck that I just realized we haven't talked about, the black green Hanzo. Because we've been talking about black or green white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
There's also green black.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the green black is good. I think the Hanzo is better than Lurch just because Hanzo has the master rune. That's the best.
That master rune's mean.
It
Just-
pretty much stops all the other new Valhalla rulers from playing clutch cards.
Mm-hmm. It's just like I've been playing, around with the decks, and it's strong, but there's these number of times where it's just.
Is it times where you just don't draw cards that you would like to see?
Yeah, sort of. It's just like when, whenever you play loose for like you play like a lot of different black cards that are like very specific to finding whatever you need for that situation. Like, you have Free from the Altar, you
Mhm.
get Layla, you have Demonic. What was it called?
Demon Division?
Demon Division. A Demon Division to get your altars, but there's a lot of times where I played Hanzo and I'm just like, oh wow, I just didn't hit a single altar. And like turn 10, I draw into an altar. It's like, okay, great, I don't have a hand, I don't have a board, and I have an altar in hand. It's just like, well, this does absolutely nothing for me. But if I played it turn 2 to turn 3, then I could have been sacking things off anytime that they tried to kill something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Athenia is a strong card. But I don't know if it can keep up with other things. Like the fact that compared to Nyarlathotep, which also has a lot of abilities, Gnarly's better just because her isn't mana cost to do her things.
Yeah, it's just a sack of moon.
And she can destroy Athenia for 1 moon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Athenia would have to swing in, prevent damage, or pump herself up, So Athenia has her time and place, and she's good, but I don't know how she's going to fare in the meta.
Yeah. Because I kind of compare Athenia of Black Green Hanzo to kind of Druid from Hearthstone. Not to the extreme extent that Druid's at, Quest Druid specifically. Because some of the pick 2 or pick 1 cards, they're not fantastic abilities,
Yeah,
but they're really good if you could get both of them off.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, there's not much to say other than like, if you get Athena on curve, it's really good. If you don't, then you're kind of playing just a subpar mono black deck.
Yeah, I'd say like the few times where I feel like it does come in handy is whenever I can go like Athenia, Dark Tree, I forget his name, Sephiroth?
Yeah, Sephiroth.
Yeah, so you go Sephiroth, banish to them, pay 1, from, because he had recovered stones and whatnot. Asema. So like that's not a bad turn. Like you get an 8/8, you get 7/6, you deal 5 game 5 typically. You drew 2 cards and your opponent discard 2 cards. Like
Yeah.
that's a great swing turn, but it's at the same point of if they don't have a hand already, then it doesn't do much besides drawing you a card, and then you're just filtering at that point. Now, of course, getting mana for later on is great, because there's times where I played Sephiroth, like early game, just to either draw to discard from opponent, play Athenia, and I can just start sacking them away for will. So that's always nice, but yeah, I just don't know how it's going to compare to the other meta when you're comparing it to like things that can. So like that deck is like, yeah, turn 3 I can play a lot of things, but then like it's easily killed. I can come back, but it's going to take me a turn or 2. Well, like Isis is just like, oh well, turn 3 on, I can just win the game if you just tap out 1 too many things. Or you got machines, which is, well, you didn't deal with my board fast. You never hit my board, so turn 3 I'm swinging for, like 13 to 14 in the air.
Yeah.
And then at any point in time, I can now just blow up your entire field, and after removing all their abilities, like it's not much you can do at that point.
And we could now consistently -10.
I hate how often you can do it.
Like there's times where I could just be like, I -10, you lure at the -10. I'm like, I still have enough counters to -10 again.
Don't give away our match, because I want people to watch that. But yeah, it's like my biggest thing is like Arthur. If you have 2 Arthurs on the board, it's basically free.
Yeah.
In a sense.
And then they'll refill.
End of your opponent's turn, like if there's no damage done to them, you can just go, okay, well, like destroy your entire board, go up to my turn, draw, recover all of my counters.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get the free draw off of them,
But
I wiped your entire board, so what does it matter? Now I can just swing for
and
lethal.
no effects went off when they died.
Yeah.
Which I believe will be pretty relevant.
Yeah, so yeah, machines were strong. Now they're way stronger, so I can see them definitely be a thing. And yeah, you're right. The fact that I think Machina, the only reason why he's getting played is because if you do get off the combo, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But you're going to be playing Clockwork anyway because she's a really good card. She's mainly just a 1 cost, has 4 counters. And when she dies, you get to draw a card pretty much.
Yeah.
There's almost always hit it.
Yeah. There's like a very slim chance you won't land the Clockwork Girl effect.
Yeah, which is a big thing. But yeah, so if she wasn't good, I can see her and Machina not getting played at all. But she's good, so why not throw in a couple Machinas in there and then just call that a day?
Yeah.
And you do perfectly fine.
And it's just like, I'm honestly still debating between 2 and 3 Machinas.
I would say 2 for now.
Yeah. Because again, like he's not too crazy. He's not too needed.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice whenever you can pull away stuff from things, but it's just like, if you're planning on wiping their board a lot, you're not going to have a lot of extra counters anyway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, your Arthurs can recover them, but if you remove too many from Arthur during your turn, then your opponent has a chance to just go, okay, well, I'll just Sandstorm and kill your entire...
Yeah.
kill your Arthurs. Well, now your outlet isn't there as much.
So...
I'm trying to think what other decks. We talked about Amulet a little bit. I think that's going to be a very weird deck.
Yeah. I think it's going to help a lot that... I don't know if people are underestimating this card, because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it, is the new rune to like pitch cards, deal damage equal to their cost, and draw that many
Light
cards.
of Chronos?
Yeah, Light of Chronos.
Yeah,
because
I think
like the main issue...
was having too many big things in there, and I think that's why they got it. I think honestly, like the biggest thing for that deck is Alice, just because like there's a lot of times where they couldn't stabilize once they started to get low on life.
Mm-hmm.
But now if they hit Alice, or if they just play Alice, more likely they're gonna have an Atom that is engraved, so her abilities are off. So she's a nearly indestructible being that maybe you're probably not gonna be playing anything like Kingdom of Diversity, but you can still
Do
you
a
know,
lot.
yeah, you can just come in, swing for 10, deal 10. You got so many different simple skills that's like, okay, well,
Gain 10.
yeah, like I said, like swing 10,
Eternal.
gain 10. You're a flyer. You have precision, first strike. Like, why not?
Mm.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just like, so I'm gonna deal with something on your board. I'm gonna gain 10 life, and maybe you can bounce her or RFG her, or banish her, but she's harder to remove than most things. And it's also like playing Atom in the deck that makes sense. That way you can just pitch your early game and you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I still feel like a lot of people are doing this, and I think it's a really cool idea. It's the whole like turn 1 Sprout, turn 2 tap Sprout, RFG, discard Atom, play Roulette Wheel, spin the Roulette Wheel. And if you get Alice, okay, boom, there you go. You can just swing in for 10, gain 10.
Yeah.
Like, because he's already engraved. You hit another Atom. Okay, we'll play that thing. Like maybe you hit, and what Ushuaia gets played in that deck. Mosasaurus, I think, gets played in the
I
deck.
think Athenia's get played. Just like every big relevant thing gets played
Yeah.
in that deck.
Yeah, and most of the time they want to shoot for under 5 costs, except for Atom.
Yeah, I
Atom and
think-
Ushuaia. Just because if you hit Ushuaia, it's really cool to like get Athenia or
Yeah.
Mosasaurus off the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's just good. Yeah, besides that, like I just feel like the Atom deck that they probably want you to play isn't going to be a thing. It's just and then of
I
course
think
Dark
it's just
Alice.
gonna be White Weenie or White Weenie Atom.
Yeah.
That's
But also
about
Dark
it.
Alice, I just thought about it. Dark Alice is a huge help for that deck because it helps you mana fix.
Oh yeah, because now you could play their things to get stuck on. I
Play
guess.
discard, play draw discard. Now your mana's fixed because of Atom. Tap for Athenia's black, even though you don't have a single darkness stone. I think
There's so many conditional things in Atom that I still don't feel too confident in it.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like winning GPs, but I can see it like going like top
There's
16.
also one rune that helps, at least for getting Alice out, or even potentially Grimia, and that's Strangers from Reorg, because even if you fail it, it refunds itself.
Yeah,
So you could potentially go into a Stranger from Reorg if you're really digging for Alice. Go into Stranger. If you don't hit it, that's fine. Get your will back and then play Traveler for the weenies to hopefully get. So you actually dig 8 for an Alice, and then your constellation prize is whatever else the hell you get off top.
Mm-hmm.
So that could potentially be a chain of things you do in order to get an Alice out, especially like if you've thrown down Diversity. Of course, you wouldn't be able to do this turn 2, but that's still something to consider.
yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for potential decks we see.
Yeah, because I don't see Chimimi doing much. Like, she didn't get a whole lot.
Be honest with you, I was trying to figure out what ruler I was forgetting,
Yeah, Chimimi.
and yeah,
Chimimi I love, and I'm still going to try and build her, but it's like...
I don't know if Shiva.
Shiva
is
just didn't do a
enough.
lot. Like,
I think
her normal
everyone was excited for it.
Chimimi is great. Like
Yeah.
Chimimi, the rest
like
of
the
it is
Chimney
great.
Revenant, that's like borderline
'cause-
bullet ball bait.
Because I
Yeah.
can just swing, banish something, and respond and recover. Like, I've talked about that, like how much
Yeah.
you can... Like, I have like 2 of those things on board.
And then bullet ball.
I can swing 3 times there, and then just bullet ball for lethal. It's like, well, what can you do? Like, she has Eternal. Like,
Yeah.
but if hers Eternal was both players' turn, I could see the deck becoming much more relevant. But because it's only during my turn, it's a lot easier for you just to kill it.
At least, on your turn, you have less worries for killing it. So all you gotta do is just sit on a bunch of favor spell and other cancels and go, no.
Oh, I could try bullet balling machines.
No,
No.
it's not worth
Where are
No,
your
it's
Jizo
not.
statues?
Yeah, if you want Jesus statues, I could believe in it, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't do it. No.
I don't like the Jizo statues and machines. I still don't. I don't think they're good enough. I would rather play good machine 1-drops.
Damn, he threw Jizo statue under the bus. What are you gonna do about that Jizo statue? take that.
It's gonna fall down because it's a fucking statue.
Just
Especially
imagine
the
if it
Kenneth
didn't have the condition that it can't attack or block until it has 6 1/1 counters.
That would be a broken card because it's literally just a 1 mana 6/6.
Yeah.
But that alone is
1 mana
good.
7/7 going into your opponent's turn, but coming back to yours.
Yeah.
It's a 1
but
mana
it's-
8/8.
It's a 1 mana 6/6 when you play it. That's if you're Swiftness, man, like you can only swim physics. But yeah, I can get like coming to your turn. Yeah, it's an 8/8, but then which we've only ever had like one other 1 mana 6/6. But that thing.
Dang,
It's
speaking
reasonable.
of like 1 mana 8/8s, I forget that we still have a 1 mana 8/8 in red with the condition that at the end it has a automatic trigger that creates an automatic trigger. So at the end of turn, trigger, if this card attacked or blocked, trigger, destroy it.
Yeah.
What's cool about that card is all you have to do is throw down a Minerva, and you have a 1 mana 8/8 that ain't going nowhere on your turn.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't committed to that yet, but that's still on the back burner of things I want to try. Might work. I don't know.
So I guess now we should probably talk about our local events we're planning to set up. Here in
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah, we got 2 things coming up.
Oh, Richardson, Dallas. I don't know.
Yeah. Tell me what we got, Sam.
Oh, so we got this coming Sunday. We have a pre-release. It's a late pre-release technically, but it's still just. I mean, it's a set that's really hard to get.
It's a chance to get more packs.
It's a post-release.
No, it's not. Shut up.
It is post-release.
It
you
says
know?
pre-release in the box though, so
It's all no.
It's
It's
a post-
post-release because it's a sealed event. That's what we mark.
It's a post pre-release.
anyway, you get a promo, you get packs of the new set, you have a possibility of getting a cool playmat. And then besides that, later this month with the 22nd, I
Yep.
believe, it's a few weeks after the pre-release, we're gonna have a open house where anyone's welcome to come. If you want to learn the game, if you want to get back into the game, we're gonna have different decks that you can play with. You can learn from us. You can play with other people. Anyone that comes gets a free drink from the store
of your choosing, any drink.
of your choosing. So it's just gonna be a nice time, and free things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
if you-
also, I would like to add on to the pre-release discussion that for every person that joins the pre-release, it adds $5 to the prize pool for first and second place. And if we get 12 people, then the prize pool is split amongst top 4 instead. So the more people show up, the more that's at stake, and you can walk away with some extra. Now, it is $5 in store credit, but that can go towards a lot of things, sleeves for your new cards, deck boxes, etc. It's better than nothing.
Or mats, because you can never have enough mats.
or packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packs. You really can't have enough packs now.
And that kind of segues into a brief discussion, not necessarily a discussion, but a highlight of like the local game store and kind of what it is. So thank you to Andrew for hosting Force of Will at the shop. We really appreciate it. He's been very helpful to us getting the community transferred and also reestablishing the community in Dallas. He's been on top of that. We really appreciate that. And the services that his store offers work really well for what we want to do. They have streaming services. That way we can get you gameplay of these decks. They also have streaming services, so at some point we can actually live stream some of the tournaments. Even potentially, upcoming tournaments we could live stream. That's great. They have food services, so you can get snacks, as we said. They have drinks, but also they're really willing to help out players. Store credit from the tournament going towards anything in the store is nice, and it's just a really chill environment. They also have play video games there. It's really cool, and we hope to get a lot of people to come and play, because the more come and play, the more people that we can beat up on in Force of Will, or get beat up on. There are some sleepers. All Daniel has to do is just come back, and then he mops the floor with all of us. But it's really fun, and it's really entertaining to be able to get to do these things. And who knows, we might be able to have even bigger tournaments in the future if all goes well.
Yeah. I think that's the end of this podcast. We've
That is.
talked about our packs. We've talked about future decks we believe in. We've talked about the future events we're planning to hold at the local game store, which is called the local game store.
Yeah,
Just in
that
case
is
the people
actually
didn't
the name.
know, it is called
the local game store, Richardson, Texas. And again, those events are pre-release. That's not a pre-release, coming up on the 8th of this month, September 8th. $30 entry. More details on the Force of Will DFW page, and we should link the event for that in this video as well. And then 2 weeks after that, on the 22nd, we have an open house for both new and old players to come try out the cluster in pretty much its entirety. We have all the cards, or at least all the cards available to some extent. So come out, play. We have plenty of cards that we can throw at people, not literally. And you get a free drink for showing up. So if you're interested in playing and you've never played before, or you've played before and you want to get back in, now's a good time right before the new cluster starts, so you're familiar with how everything is and you'll be ready for the transition. And with that said, I think that's everything for this podcast.
So, this is Joel. That's Sam.
And this is Youngblood.
Yep.
Roderick.
I guess that's the WLTCG podcast. See you guys later.
Deuces. Bye.